Hi, I'm Wendy Lathrop, and this is a session from GeoLearn. This particular program is part of a series of programs that I'm presenting on floods, floodplain management, and the National Flood Insurance Program. This particular topic is going to be talking about mapping and its role in the National Flood Insurance Program. The basic objectives of the National Flood Insurance Program are to attempt to reduce the damages to lives and property through using a consistent framework of regulations throughout the country, and that framework is reflected from the national standards at the local levels in their adopted regulations. In order to be able to promote the sound floodplain management, we need to have a way to identify where those risks are. And that's one of the three prongs to the National Flood Insurance Program, identifying and mapping those risks. Related to that, we have the regulations as a framework based upon what the identified risks are, and then making sure that assurance is available in those communities that comply with those regulations associated with the mapped and identified floodplains. The repercussions for having an inaccurate map are that you have properties that are either overregulated or underregulated, either overinsured or underinsured. And in areas where there's no map, there's no framework for communities to be able to identify the areas that are at risk. Therefore, they're unable to easily regulate them in a consistent manner with other areas that there is public notice through the presence of a map. With three main types of flooding that we're going to be looking at in this particular session are riverine flooding, where we're looking at water coming out of its banks, where the channel is insufficient size to carry the full volume of water during a 1% annual chance flood. Coastal flooding, where we have storm surge, water that is pushed by wind and changes of air pressure to create higher waves than in normal circumstances, and much greater than still water elevations, and those areas where they're relatively flat and we have shallow flooding that extends over a great area at a similar elevation or depth throughout that vicinity. Through the floodplain program, the national program has identified various risk levels and they have assigned various symbols to represent those risk levels on the maps that are adopted by the local communities in order to regulate. The first one that we're going to talk about is Zone A. Now, Zone A is an area where you have a 1% annual chance flood, but it is in Zone A all by itself with no suffix after it, means that it hasn't been studied to the level of detail where we can determine what the level of inundation is or what the base flood elevation is in reference to a given datum.